And actually, Cindy is one of my clients that I have mentored with, and she's done awesome and evolved and shifted so quickly. And I feel like one of the things a lot of my clients do say is how they, like one girl, I remember she, in her testimony though, she was like Tanya, she said, I had one session with Tanya, and she had a 3-hour auric clearing with me, and she's like, in one session, I got more from that session than 15 years of therapy. And I literally got tears in my eyes hearing her say that. But I've observed the clients I work with, and it's true. And I'm not bragging on traditional therapy. Everything has its place. But a lot of people, when they're going to therapy and they're just talking about their problem, they're kind of stuck in talking about the problem. With an auric clearing, we're not talking about problem. We're tuning into the energetics that are creating the problem. We're helping you find the core issue of the root of your issue so that we can pull that root out at the core and release it from your energy field, and it will change your life. But like Cindy was just commenting, I have people that will work with me just for, one session, that I don't really ever hear from them again. But the ones that I see more often, and I encourage them to connect more often, whether it's like they're coming in and we're mentoring, and this is my beloved William, by the way. Hi, baby. And if we're connecting, more often, it's just like if you're working with a basketball coach, if you're there practicing every day, you're going to be amazing in your transformation. If you don't, let's say you can't afford it daily, but you go once a week with that coach, or maybe it's twice a month with that coach, you're going to figure out what works for you. But putting that time and investing in your growth and your soul's growth and potential, that is what's going to make you a superstar at whatever you're doing. So like William and I, our mission is we want to go into corporations this year and be helping corporations see how shifting into a mindful meditation approach with their team, whether it's a small company or a large company, is going to create an amazing shift in the collective of their vision. So if that team thinks that, they're struggling in some way, but they just have all these dramas playing out in the office and no one knows what to do about them, that can create quite a downfall for that business and lots of unnecessary stress. A lot of their clients are depressed, they're at home sick, they got more anxiety and issues. But then you bring in a team that supports the individuals, helps them come into alignment, and then as a collective they work together to be the superstar team at their game, they're going to thrive. And so really, whether it's us individually doing this or we're doing this as a team, like with a business group or a basketball team itself, working with a coach is going to really support your expansion, and it's going to support your growth. And you're sometimes not going to see stuff that your coach is going to see because you're so in it, and you might slip off the path and you haven't seen your mentor for a while, and then you're like, oh yeah, let me get right back in there. And she's just helping remind me what works. She's helping remind me what helps me thrive. So it's really, think of it that way. We're just there to help remind you how awesome you are. So.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to mention is how, first off, grateful I am to be with somebody who embodies self-love to the extent that Tanya does, because, for example, in the time that we've been together, I've had 4 auric clearing sessions with her, and incrementally, every single one has just allowed that greater and greater receptivity for self-love, and just that continuation of that evolution of self-love. And so it's been extremely powerful to obviously have her in my life, and for any of you out there that, again, desire a soul coach or whatnot, it's extremely powerful stuff. And so one of the things I want to mention about that, in terms of the benefits of self-love in interpersonal relationship, is something that she had touched on earlier, is that in past relationships, I would compliment a girlfriend or something like that, and it would be really difficult for her to receive that compliment with grace or gratitude, and it would be kind of a rejection or a disavowing of that compliment, like, oh, I don't believe you, or that's not true.
You're a liar.
Right. And so, but with that self-love and the fact that Tanya embodies self-love, as do myself, it's like when we give each other compliments, it's like, oh, thank you. I honor you as well. And so,
like an avatar, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like I see you. I really feel and see you.
Yeah, exactly. So it just feels good to be in that energy of reciprocation. One of the symbols that we use for our relationship as twin flames, or kind of a holy relationship, is the figure eight. It's going to be simple because in terms of the yin and yang, or the give and receive, it's a constant circuit or flow of love. And again, it all starts and begins with that self-love. And so one other thing I want to mention too, in response to Kokomo about the inner voice of self-doubt or self-judgment. For me, there's two things that work great in terms of counteracting that. One is knowing that every thought in regards to law of attraction has an equal and opposite thought that would be the exact opposite of that. So
just higher.
So yeah, just having the awareness of, well, what's the opposite of that inner thought that was just a self-judgment, like, oh, you're a loser. Well, or you can say, if you're aware of that, what's the opposite of that? Oh, you're a winner. That's the first kind of tool or strategy. But the second one is just to go into your heart and silence that mind, and again, know that thought or that energy of the spinning in your mind is not you.
Yes.
You are a soul. And so if you just choose to quiet your mind instead of, you can use the equal and opposite strategy or technique, or you can just go into your center and go into your heart and just silence, adios.
Yes.
Be still. So, yeah, and just go into that self-love state.
And if you struggle with that, because a lot of times when I have meditation classes and yoga classes, students in the beginning, they struggle to silence their mind. They're just like, my mind's so busy. That's one of the things that I notice in people's auric clearings. Their mind's so quiet and still. So that's something I can help with, but ultimately will help you cultivate that in yourself so that at home, maybe you can't just be still right now and it doesn't come naturally, but maybe you put some calm music on and you just tune into the music, or you tune into your breath in yoga. You go take a yoga class and you just listen to your breath, or maybe you hear a bird singing and you're listening to that. It's putting your focal point on something soothing so that the mind is neutralized, so that you're not aggravating and feeding and fueling that low thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And even taking a walk.
Yeah.
And
go move.
Yeah, and I've read how taking a walk, since you're utilizing both sides of your body, your legs and your arms, and your walk, you're balancing the left and right hemisphere of your brain, and you're returning to that centered state of balance of yin and yang, of divine masculine, divine
That's
feminine.
the best thing you can do.
Being in that center point, like the eye of a storm or the eye of a hurricane or tornado, is that silent point. So.
And I will say, as a mentor and a coach and a healer, I go on walks just about every day, in nature, quiet, before shows. Sometimes I'll meditate or I'll go on a walk before I work with clients. So quieting the mind is something that will serve all of us. And the ones that you look up to, if any of you look up to me oh, she seems like she knows what she's talking about. She's always so positive and chipper. Well, I actually do access these tools every day. It's not just knowing about them. It's actually accessing them. It's actually embodying them so that you make use of this. Nature helps you. You go to it often. Meditation works. Then you go get quiet. You don't get too busy with everybody else's needs. You go get quiet and still first. And then you say your yeses in aligned ways and you say your nos in aligned ways. You'll see how your day will be so efficient and so beautiful and flowing because you started with the alignment with self. So I would encourage that.
Yeah, and just knowing that's really the difference between knowing the path and walking the path, and
yes, huge difference.
Knowledge as opposed to wisdom, and
yes.
And Tanya just pointed out the time that it's now
Yes,
6 o'clock.
because I am not, I'm like trying to be really good. So I'm going to end this, I'm just going to share some things coming up. One of the online specials I have, if any of you contact me this week for soul coaching, I would encourage at least bi-monthly sessions, meaning you meet a couple times a month, but it's really up to what your budget is. But I would encourage that because you're being consistent, you're coming back around, and you're going and following through on what your goals were, and then we're meeting together to see how far you've come to nudge you into action again. So if you feel like you've been kind of stagnant and stuck, I would encourage that. Those of you that have never had an aura clearing, I truly feel everyone on this planet will benefit from an aura clearing. Whether you have one or you have 5 or 20, have at least one. It will change your world. It will give you an amazing experience of the connection with the divine that will really stay with you. But the key is not to just have a spiritual experience, but to take that experience and to deepen it so that you embody that. So that I would encourage you to check into that. But I have soul coaching sessions. They're $111 per session for an hour. If you buy 8 sessions for $888, you get 2 complimentary sessions. And then my 2-hour sessions are $222. Same thing, if you buy 8 sessions, it's going to be $1777, and you get 2 complimentary sessions as well. And then I have an Essence of Yoga and Meditation teacher training coming up. It's 3 months. It's 3 months long. Amazing and so beautiful. Whether you're a yogi or you want to be a yoga teacher or you just want to get closer to the divine, this mentorship will be very focused on the meditative aspects and on living your yoga, moving in a moving meditation. Like, my passion for those who've done yoga with me, it's really using it as a healing tool that we use in every moment of our life. So if that sounds interesting to you, I have that coming up. I didn't write the date. Oh, yes, April 10th. And if any of you want to do that one-on-one, some of you are not local, we could do this through Skype. You could join us in a group setting, or any of these things that I offer. Workshops can be done through Skype or phone call if you'd like. Ask Cindy, because that's how we work together. She's on the East Coast. And then I have Ascending Through the Chakras that starts April 18th. Oh, wait, is it April? No, April 8th, sorry. April 8th. And this is also going to be a 7-week class that is going to be exploring and delving through the chakras. And I call it Ascension Through the Chakras, or Ascending, because we really are moving through that on our planet. And we'll be tuning into each chakra with the intention of clearing, releasing old cellular memory, and going higher and higher in vibration. So that's a really beautiful class. We do art projects in it, and we do a lot of inner soul healing. So we've got that coming up. What else? Our Twin Flame Union Workshop.
Yep, our Twin Flame Workshop is on the 17th of next month for 3 hours from noon to 3 at our home here, which our last Twin Flame Workshop, again, we had people through Skype. And so just very powerful relationship.
All about self-love.
Yeah, all about self-love, absolutely. So that's April 17th.
Yes. So those are all the things that I've got going on, and I would encourage you, if you're feeling kind of inspired, claim it right away. Call me and let's set it up. Set up your first session so that you don't let that ego voice distract you again. But I would love to help and serve and assist any of you who are ready, including any of you who are listening that work for corporations or businesses where you would love to have Will and I come out there and speak to your team. Talk to whoever's in charge. Contact me and let's make it happen, because we would love to come out and help transform your workforce as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's 6:04 now. Amnon, I think I did pretty awesome. I was pretty close. So thank you guys for chatting with me and sharing your heart's insights. Is there any last questions or comments, Amnon?
Nope.
Okay.
You can read. There are some. You can read them after this show.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. I really love these connections, and we will tune in again next Sunday live at 5 p.m. And thank you, Jen, Kokomo, and Cindy, for your comments. I love hearing from you all. So have a blessed day, and I hope to hear from you soon. Mwah! Namaste.
Namaste.
You're tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tanya Love